Who the fuck is that guy?
I make my own moves, yeah, I'm bossing.
All weak bitches, please proceed to the exit.
Is there no one else? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
We are not for the weak.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the that's not the We Are Gunsmith. Yo.
Welcome to the wrong podcast.
You guys are tuned into the wrong fucking podcast. Now, welcome to the Not for the Weak podcast with James and Jeremy. We're back.
Back at it. Episode 2.
Consistent.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. We're fucking adults now, dude. We're consistent with uploading and recording. It's like we actually give a shit about this.
I know. Weird, dude.
Right? Podcast sponsored by Dutch Bros.
Not really, but that'd be cool.
But if they want to slide us some free coffee, that works too.
Travis, where you at?
Oh, man. What's going on, dude? What's new and exciting?
Nothing much, man. Just been basically the same thing that we talked about last week, like in terms of like what I'm doing. Just still studying, still just training.
How's the studying going?
It's going good. Learning a lot of shit. It's more just like, I guess it's more reading than anything. Not that I'm like studying anything specifically, but it's just I'm reading and trying to like retain things. So I have like the textbook, and then I have a highlighter. Yeah. And I highlight like definitions of things that I find, important, or things I've heard are going to be on the test. So I just make sure to pay close attention to like subjects that they talk about, like CNS, like your nervous system in general. Yeah. It talks a lot about that, and I know that that's going to be on the test.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
dude, you forget how much like reading's cool, but like when you don't read for a while, like I'm gonna be real. When I graduated, like when I got done with college, I was like, I'm done reading for a while. Like I'm not gonna read anything.
Yeah.
Like I read way too many books, way too many textbooks, way too many books for classes. Like I'm good with reading for a while. Like I used to really love reading, and then I was like, nah, I'm good, man. I'll pass. And then I was studying for one of my certs, and I had to I'd like read a book, and I was like, dude, I like cracked it open. I was like, this is brutal. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
I like read one paragraph. I was like, nope. I don't remember any of that now.
Man, I've always hated reading. I really have. And so this doesn't make it any better. The only difference is I'm enjoying what I'm reading.
Yeah,
but I never was one to read. Like they're like, turn to chapter 6 and read about this. I'm like, no.
Yeah. Where's the Cliff Notes version?
I was like the kid who, when the teacher wasn't looking, I would steal the key to the test. That was like coming up on Friday.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, and take pictures of it and cheat. That was me.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, bro. Because I had a study class.
Yeah.
And in my study class, I could take tests in there, and so I would go into my study class, and I would put my headphones in and look at my phone. Yeah. And on my phone were the pictures of all the answers, and then I'd get my test done, hang out for like 20 minutes so it didn't seem like I zoomed through it, and then turn it in.
Dude.
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck?
I was sick. Me and a close friend of mine did that. And we crushed it. Crushed class. A.
How'd that work out for you, crushing class like that?
It was good. I would get like random questions wrong on purpose.
Oh, because so you were acting dumb on purpose.
Yeah. But still to where I would get like, at least a B or a B plus. Yeah. No, 100%. Because the teacher knew I didn't pay attention for shit, bro.
She's like, damn, he's doing hella good on these classes.
She's like, wow, Jeremy doesn't pay attention and is constantly sleeping or on his phone, yet he gets 100% on his test. What the fuck?
And she never caught on to you like sneaking the test?
No.
How would you steal the test?
So she had like a study period.
Oh.
It was just a period. She didn't have a class or anything, so she would like grade papers or do whatever. And during that time, there'd be kids in there studying for like tests for other classes, or in there getting extra help from her, like a tutoring session. And so me and my friend would go in there, and she always had the key to the test, like the test all done and stuff. She always had it like in this small drawer that was always pulled out, because it had other stuff like pens and paper and stuff. And so my friend would like distract her, ask her questions, and get help. And then I always sat at the desk that was closest to her desk. Damn. And I would take it, and I always had my backpack on me, so I'd take it and just put it in my backpack.
Damn, you guys had a whole fucking scam going.
Yeah, it was initially his idea, and I was like, well, fuck, let's do it. That's a great idea, because that means I don't have to pay attention and I can pass class.
Wow, dude.
I just heard myself drinking coffee on this, and it made me sick.
Yeah, don't do that, dude.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Don't drink into the mic. Please step away from the mic.
That was super nasty sounding.
Oh man, damn, dude. I never did anything like that in high school. I was kind of a pussy in high scholl. I don't think I would have the cojones.
I was an asshole, dude. I would throw fits. I would kick over tables and like march out of class. Yeah, one time I was in science class, it was biology, and I enjoy biology. I enjoy science. I think science is like just interesting in general.
Yeah.
So I liked the class. I did well in the class. And I was on my phone texting. I was texting my dad because I was having these like chronic migraines. Like they're really bad, and I couldn't figure out why I was having them. And my dad used to have them, so I was talking to him about trying to figure out like, okay, what should I do? Because they're like really super terrible. Mm-hmm. She like got upset at me. I was like, hey Jeremy, can you put your phone away? I was like, oh, I'm just texting my dad. I'm like, please. I'm just sending a quick text, and then I'll get back to my test. Like, you can look at my phone, so you know I'm not lying or anything like that. Like. I'm really just texting my dad, and she's like, no, I don't care. Give me your phone. And I was like, wait, no, I'll put my phone away. Like if I can't finish my text, I'll at least just put my phone away. Then, that's fine. She's like, no, give me your phone now. And I was like, no, I'm not going to give you my phone because I'm not doing anything wrong. I told you I'll do my test. She was like, hey, get out of my classroom. And she like yelled at me, and it made me so mad. Like, cause I was like embarrassed and mad at the same time. Then I got up and I was walking, and she was like, make sure you sign yourself out. And I took the pen and I broke it. And then I took the clipboard and I like slid it across the ground. And then I kicked, like, we have these big science tables, and I kicked one of them, and it like fell over. And I was kind of like, fuck. But at the same time, I was mad, and I was like, nah, fuck you. And then I slammed the door like open in front of the security guard that was out there. And he just like looked at me, and I looked at him. And then I walked to the office, and I just kind of chilled at the office because I was pissed. I had to say sorry like 2 days later.
Oh, I bet.
And I went up there. I'm like, I'm sorry. Just got upset.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. It's not that I was a bad kid. It's just like during high school, I had a lot of shit going on in my life. So I had zero time for anything and anybody, including teachers. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, fuck you. Like, if I'm not being like a bad kid or anything like that, and I'm trying to like communicate with you. And I think that's like a big problem is like some teachers refuse to like communicate with students just because of the fact that they're students.
Well, I think also sometimes at that age, like you're struggling with like a lot of like, it's a lot of hormones and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like shit going on in your life, and everything's like life changing. And you don't necessarily know how to communicate at that age too. Like,
exactly.
So like you communicating to your teacher, like it probably came off in your eyes, like, oh, I'm just saying this, but like to her, like probably came off like, oh, like fuck you. Which kind of at the end it was, but
at the end,
but like
because I basically felt like you're not like you're not like trying to see where I'm coming from. Like, it's not that I'm not listening to you. It's that, like, I do want to listen, but I'm just doing something.
Yeah.
That's important to me. Like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on because I have a migraine. And it hurts. It sounds like a pussy thing, but like anyone who has like migraines, like not a headache, like a migraine, knows that they fucking suck.
Yeah.
You have to go sleep in a goddamn dark cave with no sound.
That's a big problem with like everybody nowadays. Like communication is like key, but like most people, I think the average person is not very good at communicating.
I super agree, and it's a real bummer because as I've gotten older, I've always been a communicator. Not that I've always been good at it, but I've always tried to communicate like how I feel, how things make me feel, and stuff like that, like with others. And it doesn't really work. A lot of people aren't really open to communication because a lot of the times, like through communication, you realize, oh fuck, I did something wrong.
Yeah, and you don't want to admit that you're doing something wrong.
No one ever wants to admit that
you never want to admit that you're doing something wrong. So like your communication is like, you're gonna like ignore that you were wrong and like move on and hope that person doesn't realize that you just admitted that you were wrong in a way.
Yeah, and as I've gotten older, my communication has just gotten better and better. And I don't know, dude. I feel like I do a pretty great job at being able to voice the way I feel, you know, in a way that doesn't come off aggressive or like argumentative. And it kind of still is sometimes.
I mean, it's never going to be perfect. Like, you're always going to interview, like, you're always going to end up talking to somebody who, you know, will never see things your way or never be open to your opinion, regardless of how well you communicate it, you know? Yeah. And there's so many factors that go into communication and why somebody refuses to communicate, you know what I mean? Yeah. But well, and that's a huge issue nowadays, especially like with all the political shit going on. Oh, like, absolutely. Like, one side doesn't listen to the other side doesn't, you know, like, nobody listens to each other, like, because in that, you know, you're admitting, oh, maybe I'm not doing everything correct. Yeah. You know, like, maybe there is something that the other side is right about, you know? Yeah. Well, and people point the finger instead of like trying to like self-reflect and communicate that way and say that you're feeling this way due to like certain things, or saying, you know, this is how I feel about this because in my eyes, this makes sense this way. Right. People just say, you're wrong. Oh yeah. And nobody's trying to hear that they're wrong. Oh no, 100%. You know what I mean? And there's times where I have to be like, look, like, you know, you did this today and it kind of made me feel this way. And like, in a way that's kind of saying, you know what, you're wrong for making me feel that way. But at the same time, it's not. It's just like, I just want you to know, hey, be more aware of what you're doing. Right. Because you did this today and it kind of made me feel a certain type of way that I don't prefer to feel. You know what I mean? Yeah, 100%. But people hear what they want to hear, bro. Yeah, like, no, and that's just human nature, I think. Like the ego part, like, I don't know, everybody. Like, even if you try to be like, oh, I'm going to be super open to this, then like maybe they say like one trigger word, like a trigger word that like in your head you're like, nope, they're saying I'm wrong. They're like, fuck them. Like, no. I personally have like trigger words, like pokes. I call them like pokes, like unnecessary things that I feel like you shouldn't say when you're trying to talk to somebody, but you say them to get a reaction out of them. Oh yeah. And you'll get a reaction out of them. You, like, for sure. If you know that person enough, you know what words like. Oh dude. Yeah. Dude, me and my girlfriend sometimes, if she's listening to this, I love you very much, but me and my girlfriend sometimes when we talk, bro, she'll like say something and then she'll say like two more words that just she doesn't need to say. And I'm just like, oh, and I'll be like, you don't need to say anymore. Like, you did really good and then you fucked up. Yeah. Now I'm mad and I don't want to talk to you. It's like she got you on board. Yeah. And then that last two words is like, nope. And she kicks you off. Yeah, exactly. Everything was great. And I was like, oh, she's listening. And then it was like, oh, fuck you. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Cool. Now we're going to fight for a couple hours now. Yeah. Let's argue. Awesome. Pumped. Oh, man. It's crazy. Like the ego aspect of it. Like, for sure. People hate, like, Christy and I we were watching some show last night. And she's like, oh, that's so-and-so. And I was like, no, that's not her. Dude. And she's like, no, that's a chick from, what's it called? I was like, no, that's not her. That's not her at all. And she was like, dead set. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, nope, 100%. That's not her. You're crazy. You're being stupid. And then I looked it up and it was that chick. Oh, really? And I was like, the same thing happened. In my head, I was like dying, like right there. But I had to admit that I was wrong. Yeah. The same thing happened with me and Kai too. We were watching like some movie, and she's like, "Oh, that dude's from this movie." And I'm like, "No, it's not. That's not even who that is." She's like, "No, it's this guy." I'm like, "No, I promise you, it's not." Like, I know for a fact. I'm super good with movies, and I definitely remember faces and names. And I promise you right now, who you're talking about is not that person. They look similar, but that's not it. Yeah. And she's one of those Google fact checkers. Oh yeah. So we'll be arguing. She'll get on her phone and go to Google, start typing in the question that we're arguing about. Yeah. And she looked it up. She's like, "It's not who it is." She's like, "I just thought that's who it was." Like, I knew it wasn't though. Why would I? She admitted that you were right though. Well, she didn't say I was right. She just said like that it wasn't who that was. I don't think she ever says you're right. She just says, "I thought it was the other person." That's how I know. That kind of brushes it off. Yeah. You don't want to push it either. You don't want to be like, yeah, so I was right? That's what I'll do all the time. I'll be like, so I was right. Like, say it.
Dude.
And that just makes it way worse.
Oh yeah, I'll sleep on the couch if I try to say that shit.
Smother you in your sleep.
Oh man.
Oh goodness.
Hmm.
Shout out to Kaya.
Yeah, shout out to Kaya.
Don't kill Jay.
Yeah, don't kill me. Love you. I love you. Remember that. Everything's okay.
She's gonna like listen to this. You're gonna show up. She's just gonna be
No,
like,
I asked
all
her-
your shit's gonna be on the front porch or whatever.
That'd have to be my bed too, because my bed is the bed we sleep on. You can sleep on the floor. Just kidding. But
Just stop now.
no, I asked her yesterday. I'm like, yeah, did you listen to our episode? She's like, no, it's hard for me to like watch you talk. That's weird to me. I'm like, oh, you don't have, it's not like it's on iTunes too. She's like, oh, it is. I'm like, yeah, and Spotify, which she doesn't have Spotify. She's like a YouTube girl. Like we're in the car and she like goes on YouTube and looks up songs, listens to them that way.
Dude, I don't get people like that.
Yo, I'm like, get YouTube Music if that's the case. Like,
That's just so much work, and then you get the
Spotify,
ads.
what the
And
fuck?
like,
And it's like the sound quality is always a little different because it's like a video and not the actual like media file.
yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know how people do that sometimes.
And then you gotta wait for them to search a song. I'm like, fucking just pick one. God damn it. I don't care. Migos, anything. It's good.
And then you gotta hope that you pick the right one and not like the one that somebody recorded like
From their
radio
flip phone
or
or
whatever. Yeah,
something.
dude, that dude at the deadlift competition that had a flip phone and was filming. Do you remember that? Did you see that guy? Dude, at the deadlift competition,
The Halloween party one?
yeah, at the deadlift competition a couple weeks ago, there was a dude and he was filming the deadlifts and he had like the old school flip phone. Like it wasn't even like a Razor. It was like a Nokia, like I don't know, like
Cricket.
yeah, like Cricket wireless
Cricket
kind of
wireless.
like. I was like, holy shit! He just filled up that entire phone with that one clip, probably.
Oh, dude, yeah. 30 seconds is like all your memory. Delete your pictures now.
I was talking to one of my clients actually today about like how crazy it is that phones have like evolved the way they have so quickly. Like I was just even like if you look at like the first iPhone to now,
Yeah.
like it's like the first iPhone sucks, dude. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Dude, I had the first iPhone so I didn't like get my first phone until like sophomore year, which sounds stupid. I had like a flip phone, but it was like me and my dad's flip phone, and you could only have like 5,000 characters in a text. Like that was like your text maximum was like 5,000 letters.
The whole phone?
Yeah, for like the month.
Oh.
And it was really shitty. And my dad
Characters or text messages?
like text messages.
Oh, so 5,000 text messages.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a lot.
Yeah, but it went through quick. I texted a lot. Texting them bitches.
I could see
No, I'm just kidding.
I could see that.
Dude, my texts were terrible. Anyways, and I didn't have any of my phones. And fun fact, all the media devices I ever got through high school were from girlfriends of mine. So yeah, dude.
They were
So
just gifts?
yeah, so I didn't have a phone or anything like that. So I used to always have to use my buddy's phone to like get a hold of like my girlfriends. And
Yeah.
this one girlfriend I got when I
My
was
girlfriends.
this one girlfriend I had, she had like a leftover like iPod that she just didn't use anymore, like an iPod Touch.
Yeah.
Back like the first iPod Touch. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like I can get a texting app and text you. Like that'd be sick. She gave it to me and I used that forever. And if you go on my Instagram, some of my old pictures, like from the beginning, you'll see me taking a selfie with like this iPod with like hearts on the back of it. And yeah, she gave that to me. And then eventually I got rid of that because it was just, I was getting a
need
phone.
an actual phone.
Yeah, my other girlfriend.
Damn, dude. How many girlfriends we talking?
Well, no, like these are separate times. But my girlfriend after this girlfriend, her sister was like upgrading to a phone, and so she didn't need her iPhone, and she had like an iPhone 4. Yeah. And so she's like, "Oh, you can just have that," and I'm like, a phone. So I got the iPhone 4, and I hung on to that for fucking dear life.
Yeah, that was
for like the longest time, and then
I think that was my first iPhone.
Yeah.
4.
And then it ended up breaking because like it would just start shutting off at like 10%, and then it would shut off at 20%, and then all of a sudden I had to keep my phone charged all the way because as soon as I took it off, it'd like go from 100% to 1% and then die. And then one day it died and it never turned back on. Like I couldn't charge it or anything. And I was like, Fuck. Damn. But luckily, one of my best friends' girlfriends had an iPhone 6.
Damn, dude. You just keep getting
Dude,
gifted.
I get hella lucky. So my best friend's
Stop
girlfriend...
giving Jay stuff, people.
Hey, I'll take gifts from anyone. But his girlfriend, she had like an iPhone 6, and she's like, "Oh, you can have it because I'm getting like the iPhone 7 or something." I'm like, "Oh, fuck, dude." And yeah, but that broke like a couple months later, and I had to buy my own phone eventually. Couldn't get hand me out. But by that time,
adult status right
by
there.
that time, like I have like an iPhone, like I have like the next upgrade from a 6, like the 6C or something, or the 6S, something stupid like that. But it only cost me like $150 because by that time, like the iPhone like 9 was out.
Yeah.
Or
I don't even know. I don't think there was a 9. I think it went 8 to 10.
Straight to 10. Yeah.
Which
that was a thing. People like were upset about that.
It doesn't make any sense.
And then stupids were like, "It's X." It's like this Roman numeral for 10.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's
But they do call it X in like the commercials.
To be honest, dude, iPhone X, iPhone 10.
You know what the hell we're talking about.
You know what we're talking about.
Don't be an asshole.
It sounds just as cool. I mean,
iPhone X actually
like,
sounds cooler.
Well, like Jason X. You ever seen when Jason goes to space?
No, I didn't watch that trash movie, dude.
Dude, that movie is sick as
That's
fuck.
not sick.
Dude, they blow him up and he like
comes back in space.
No, he's in space. He somehow gets launched onto like a fucking spaceship.
See, you lost me already. That's
no, and he
fuck.
starts just murking people, and then they like blow him up with a rocket, and he lands in like this nanobite pool, and they like rebuild him, and he becomes like cyborg Jason with like metal plating armor shit, and he just kills motherfuckers. He's sick, dude. It's a dope movie, bro. I watched that shit when I was like 7.
Have you watched it since then?
It's called Jason X.
Have you watched it since then?
Nope.
I guarantee you that does not hold up. You're gonna be like, this is a terrible fucking movie.
I don't know, dude. Maybe the Freddy Kruegers are still creepy. I just watched one.
I haven't seen the new one, but it looks creepy.
There was like 2 new ones, wasn't there? Was like a reimagining of it, and then there was like another another different twist on it.
I hate when they like reboot something multiple times.
Yeah, Halloween was dope. Did you watch
The new
that
one?
Yeah.
No. I honestly don't think I've seen a Halloween since the very first one.
The
It's
original
just not my
though.
thing. It's just not my thing.
So like when I was a kid, I was really big on like thrillers, like slasher movies, like Nightmare on Elm Street, or like Jason, or Friday the 13th, Child's Play, and like Halloween.
Because you're a psychopath.
Yeah, because I'm a psychopath right
Yeah,
now. But
clearly.
But I love those movies. Like I always used to watch them with my dad because my dad's a psychopath. So just 2 psychopaths watching psychopathic movies. No.
Just bonding over some fucking death, dude.
Death. But so like Rob Zombie made 2 of them or 3 of them or something, and they were super dope, different twist, a lot darker but cool. And then they just made this new one, and it was like a sequel to the old ones. So like there's some old characters from the old ones, and it takes place like 40 years later, which is like actually when the last one took place.
Yeah.
And it was fucking cool, man, because it was like exactly like how the old ones were. Like it was like that, like not like cheesy, but still like super slasher feel. Like wasn't scary. You're not like, you're scary, but you're just kind of like, run, bitch, run. Why aren't you running? Like literally, I probably said that like 10 times watching the movie. I was like, you stupid idiot. You're dead now. God damn it. Fuck.
Chrissy and I think our first date, we saw, what was that movie? Not Insidious. Not
The Conjuring?
No, not The Conjuring. Sinister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we saw.
Dude, that movie is dope.
That was pretty scary.
It's like, creepy as fuck.
It's creepy. And that's exactly how I was in the movie. I was like, dude, like fucking run. Like, like,
why are you watching these tapes, bro? What the fuck are you doing?
You dumbass, get out of the house.
That's the one with the boogeyman, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like that creepy dude who looks like he's from Slipknot.
And he ended up killing them all at the end.
Yeah,
they're all dead. Yeah.
I actually really like
Super
horror
depressing.
movies that end bad like that.
Really?
Yeah, because it's
That's
rare.
depressing as fuck.
Well, dude, because I'm so tired of people like. First of all, you should be able to get away from somebody who walks, like Halloween, for example.
Oh yeah, dude.
The fact that you can't get away from someone who walks at such a slow.
Step your cardio game up.
Michael Myers don't even power walk.
No, he doesn't. He
Like,
just
seriously.
does like the old man walk.
Yeah, he's the old man in the gym who like puts the treadmill to 0.1, and 30 minutes and he's done. He
Yeah, you
leaves.
can't even tell necessarily that he's walking.
Yeah, you don't. He like glides across the ground. Like, how can you not get away from that?
It's kind of disappointing. I think that if I was in that
So like
movie,
when he kills everyone, I'm like, tight.
and like, why would you stay and fight him? Like, just get in a car, fucking gone.
Run his bitch ass over too. Like,
Nah, don't even bother. Like, because he's just gonna get back up, right? Like, you run him over, he's just gonna get up.
well, I mean, if you run him over, get out of the car, shoot him in the head.
I mean, but like,
Just hitting him one time.
yeah, like if I mean, I'm just saying, like, go.
Well, and that could
Like,
give him a reason to like want to.
kill you, come
you.
after you. Yeah, just fucking go, just ghost his ass.
Yeah,
Peace.
Patrick Swayze, that motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he does. That is disappointing. I didn't even think about that. Like, how come nobody can run away from these people? Like, they always fall. Everyone
I'm
always
so
fucking
tired.
falls. Like,
Pick your goddamn feet up.
tie your goddamn
when you
shoes
run.
and run.
And stop running. Stop like taking the hardest fucking courses in the woods. Like they like take the one with
I'm
like
gonna hurdle this thing. I'm gonna go underneath
like
this
just
branch.
like stop, run around it.
Yeah.
Fuck. Or like I'm sure you can see it from afar. Don't keep running knowing there's
I'm
a
gonna run
huge,
into this branch right here.
you dummy. And people always look behind them. No, dude. Run like your goddamn life depends on it.
I think I would look behind me. I think I would like turn back. I feel like that's just natural, dude. You're gonna be like, dude, is he still chasing me? You're gonna hope he gets tired, and you're like, oh man.
Well, if he's walking, he probably won't.
Yeah.
It's literally like the classic case of the hare and the
Tortoise. The tortoise in there.
The tortoise and the hare. The rabbit and the turtle.
Basically.
Big facts, though.
Big facts. So Jason is the tortoise.
Yes.
And everyone he kills is the
Jason and
the
Michael
hare.
Myers, definitely the tortoise, and everyone he kills is the hare. Because they all be running and hopping away, and then they stop because they think they're safe. Meanwhile, Michael Myers or Jason just keep walking.
cruising.
Just cruising.
Just gliding.
And then they find your ass and you're tired, and then you're dead. You dead.
Yeah. I never got into like horror movies. Like, I'm not big into horror movies.
Yeah.
Like, I'll watch them every now and then, but like, I don't enjoy them. Like, I don't get enjoyment. I don't understand getting enjoyment out of like a horror movie. Like, oh man, I'm gonna go watch all these people get like sliced up. Like who goes and watches like Hostel or something and like, oh yeah, I enjoyed that movie, or like Saw. Like,
Well, Saw's different.
like
though,
the like
Saw
maybe
actually has
the
like
first-
a legitimate like makes sense story.
It makes sense,
Yeah.
but like, who enjoys watching like dudes get like shit like stabbed in their eyes and?
Or who enjoys watching movies like Human Centipede?
Dude, I was just about to say Human Centipede. Like, people, like, I'm not gonna lie, I watched the first Human Centipede because I was intrigued.
I watched all three.
Okay, so that's weird. The fact that you watched all three.
No, I didn't watch all of the third one. It was real. I didn't even get to the part to where they sew ass to mouth. Like,
So the second one, is that the prison one? I know.
no, that's the third one.
the third one.
And the acting's so fucking bad.
Oh, I can imagine, dude. Just think of who you would have to be as an actor to be like, oh, dude, Human Centipede 3?
sounds-
Sign me the fuck
This
up, bro.
sounds so sick.
I'm about to win an Oscar. Yeah, dude. Like, no, I watched the first one. I was like, "Bleh, yuck.
Yeah.
Knock. Don't need to see the second. Pass on the third. Didn't even know they made a third. Found it when I like Wikipedia'd it. I was like, oh, there's a
It
third.
was like on Netflix or something.
Was it?
Yeah. Like all three that had like a Human Centipede binge watching.
Oh, so we could have like a full on marathon of Human Centipede.
That's like fucking 6 hours of.
And the thing,
Human
well, it
Centipede.
goes back to what you were talking about, like that. There's no way that has a happy ending. Like,
Oh, yeah.
dude's never getting that shit taste out of his mouth.
Oh, dude.
Like, they're stuck together. forever.
Once your mouth has been sewn to an asshole and pooped in.
I don't think there's a way to come back from that.
I don't know. Yeah. Even if you escape, like. Ugh.
You're gonna need a lot of skin grafts.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't like the middle person die in the first one too? Like the middle part of the centipede, didn't he die? Or like one part of the centipede died.
I don't even know.
Dude, why are we even talking about that?
This is a weird ass
I took a turn. dude.
conversation. We're having talking about some horror movies and.
But yeah, horror
ass
movies.
to
Horror
mouth.
movies just in general.
Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch them if like I need to, or like somebody I'm with is like, dude, let's watch this.
I don't know. I like the thrill of it. Like it always makes me feel like I really like paranormal stuff in general. Like even like
Yeah.
real stuff. Like I always watch like ghost sightings on YouTube and shit. It's just like fucking weird shit. I like to watch like random shit. Like there's this dude
So
I
you
watch.
like watching all that made up shit then?
Yeah, it's too. But some of it's like so whack that it's like, dude, how could you explain that? I lived in a house that I swear to God was haunted, dude.
No.
Yeah. Swear to God. It was the craziest
Around
thing.
here?
No, it was in Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, dude. It was the craziest thing. I used to see like apparitions, like dark figures like in the hallway. And like dishes and shit would always be thrown like out of like cabinets, and then like our living room, the most uncomfortable thing besides like the like shadow people and like dishes and things like moving around, the most uncomfortable thing about the house was like the living room. Mm-hmm. The living room was like really big, but it was so like dense feeling. Like when you walk, as soon as you walk into the living room, you feel like you're like crushed between two walls. It was weird as fuck. Huh. Like you always felt like you're walking into a crowd of people. And you always felt like you were being watched. Like it was weird. Like you get like weird vibes in the living room. Daylight, nighttime, like it didn't matter. It was fucking weird.
So I can agree with that. Like I believe that that's the thing. Like you get weird vibes in a place. Like, but I don't know if I don't believe that means it's haunted. Personally, I think just certain places like have a weird feel to them.
But why would they?
I think it's also part of like what your mind like perceives, you know what I mean? Like, like you go to a cemetery and you're like, oh, this place is creepy. But it's like, why is it creepy? Because in your head, you're like, dude, there's a bunch of dead people underneath me. Yeah. Like I'm walking on top of a bunch of dead people. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, dude, I wonder if there's ghosts. And then you start thinking about it and you're like, oh, I believe you kind of like manifest that yourself. You know what I mean? Part of it.
Yeah. I think that in life, you manifest like anything. Like if you think about 100%. like having a fucking shitty day, like if you are pre-programmed to today is going to be a shitty day, I can feel it. Mm-hmm. Dude, the chances of you having a shitty day are so fucking high.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like, yeah. Real talk.
Dude, I talked to my girlfriend's mom about that because my girlfriend's mom's like huge on like what you manifest like happens. Uh-huh. And she says that shit all the time. She's like, dude, if you think about having a shitty day, you will have a shitty day. Oh yeah. Even if it's not as shitty as you think, you're gonna think that it's shitty anyways.
Even if something good happens on that day, you're gonna look at the negative aspect.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's so weird, dude. It's crazy.
You're like maybe you wake up and you're like, oh, I don't have to work today. Like somebody calls off, like, oh, you don't have to come to work today, and then you're like, I'm not gonna make any money today, and that's like the negative thing. You instead of focusing on, oh, I have all this free time now to work on something else. It's like, oh, now I'm not making any money. It's like, yeah. You pick up on all the negative aspects.
Oh yeah, and I used to think about that like when I would have to like cover shifts at old jobs. I'd be like, oh fuck, like I would never think about it as, ooh, I get to make extra money. I always thought about it as, fuck, I gotta come in on my day off and cover for some bitch ass. But now, like anytime I have to cover or stay late, I'm like, dude, that's just
you look at the positive.
Yeah, it's like a possible opportunity for me to make more money, and I ain't ever gonna complain about making more. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No. So. No. The mindset definitely plays a huge role into it. Like
for sure, yeah.
Like I don't know, even like the last couple weeks, you know, I've just been focusing on like doing good things and feeling good about things, and it's amazing like the opportunities that pop up when you start doing that. Like, but if I'm thinking like, oh, this is so like, it just kind of snowballs, and then like everything sucks, and then like it's hard to get yourself out of that spiral. And I think, I don't know, that's part of the whole depression thing, you know, like,
oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know, you're manifesting, you know, like your feelings, and you don't even necessarily have control over that, but like, the negative thoughts just continue to compound because you keep looking at the negative aspects of it, you know?
Well, and that's like what's hard too, is like, there's like a lot of times where like with something like depression, God, dude, I feel like I've been talking about depression so much this last like fucking couple weeks. For those who don't know, I get like kind of frequent questions about depression and stuff like that on Instagram. But anyways, besides the point, I feel like it's just like weird with like something like depression, because like something like depression is like, it's like these waves that like hit you. And like even if you are having, like, for me, for instance, like I will be having the greatest day in the world, right? Everything will go good. I'll hit a bench PR or a deadlift PR or a fucking life PR, or things with me and my lady will be perfect, and shit's awesome. I'm not stressed about money or life or training or my dieting or whatever. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, something will happen that'll remind me of something that was like a bad time in my life. Yeah. And it's just like it's like an extremely like overwhelming feeling of just like emptiness that hits you like in your heart. Like it sounds like kind of weird to people who aren't listening, but it's like a real thing. Yeah. And like,
it's 100% real.
Like when that happens, like especially for me, like when I have like those waves that hit me, it's like it can drown you, dude. You know what I mean? And even me being like as positive as I am, because I don't really feel like I have an option to be any other way but positive, especially for anybody who like follows me and anyone who like gives a shit about anything I'm doing. If I can like help other people, then that's great. Yeah. I would rather them see, oh, Jay's positive than see, oh, Jay's fucking negative and whack, sad. You know what I mean? But like it's hard to stay positive in when something like that happens. I think that like with depression, like it's more than just like I don't know how to say it. Like it's like more than just like fucking goddamn. I don't know how to say it. It's more than just like a bunch of negative thoughts, right? And like it's more than just saying, "Oh, my day sucks, and everything sucks, and I suck." It's like literally like this, like it's like this fucking feeling that like takes over your body that literally tells you, "Fuck you, fuck today, fuck your life, fuck everyone around you."
Doesn't matter what you do.
It doesn't matter, and it's hard to like explain that to somebody who never like has dealt with that. Like I try and explain that to Kaya. Right. She's like, "Oh, you know, like you can just try and think about things on the positive side." I'm like, dude, you almost feel like you legitimately can't. It's like on times like that, like you feel like you should just like be alone and be left alone and like deal with it yourself, because it's almost like people trying to help you kind of makes it worse. Because
really,
yeah, because if
you would think that in a scenario like that, you'd want to be around more people. Like you'd want to be around. Like
it's a battle. It's a battle, because there's times where I'm like, you know what, I would love just some support. And for someone to be just fucking be like, "Oh, Jay, you know, everything's okay." But at the same time, like it's like the help that I get is from people who have no fucking clue what's going on, and will kind of like approach it the wrong way and be like, "Oh, just get over it. You know, today's not a bad day." Like that's not.
We'll see. Yeah, that's different. Like that reaction is not what you need.
No,
like, somebody telling you just to get over it is not the solution to anything, really. Like that, very rarely is that the solution. Like you can't just get over it. Like, okay, you told me to get over it, I'm over it. Like it never works.
Thank you very much for telling me that.
Doesn't work. Like, great. It's like if I could just do that, then I wouldn't need you to tell me to get over it. But like I think being surrounded by people who actually kind of understand that, or like, you know, can point out the good things that are going on, like kind of remind you of, you know, what you have going on that's like good in your life, as opposed to just being like, dude, you're fine, get over it. Like that's obviously not, but like telling you like, oh dude, like, you know, you got a loving girlfriend, you got a roof over your head, like you're killing it in the gym, you got a good job, you're studying, you're doing all this stuff, like to remind you, oh yeah, like things are good.
Yeah, no, I know. And like, that stuff's great. And that's what sucks is like, it's typically like stuff from like my childhood and like upbringing and things like that. And that's usually like stuff that sparks it. And like, as I've gotten older, I've noticed that like a lot of stuff like from back then, like just how I was raised and stuff, a lot of it's awesome. Just because like if it wasn't for like things that's happened and stuff I've gone through, like I wouldn't be who I am today. You know what I mean? Especially like in terms of like being able to just like talk and like, and be personable with people. And like, I think like have like that heart for others. Mm-hmm. And I just like that want to see other people grow. Yeah. But at the same time, like it's caused like some problems to where I'm just like, when like something happens that like reminds me of something that's happened before, it's just like instant like shut off, and I'm like,
it takes you back to that time, and you're like, that time was terrible.
And a lot of it has to do with like not relationship stuff, but a lot of it has to do with like family things and like home life and like relationship like that, like love and stuff like that. And like a lot of that stuff that was really fucked when I was younger. So when things happen, like even when sometimes when me and my girlfriend fight, like I'm like the dude, like for those who think that this is kind of like pussy of me, whatever, but I'm like typically the guy who kind of like needs like that reassurance, because like there's times where I'm like, dude, like don't give up on me because I could be an asshole, because like I promise you like I'm really not an asshole, but like this is my way of dealing with pretty much anything. And like with Kaya, that's like the biggest problem I think that I have is like I think with all of my relationships, honestly, like when I think about any of them, like one of my biggest problems was like I handle a majority of things like kind of with like getting upset about them, like mad about them. Just because like my dad was like the kind of guy, if he ever listens to these, love him to death. He does listen to these actually.
Oh no shit.
So love you to death, dude. But he was the kind of guy his way of like showing like love, or his way of being sad or worried or it was anger.
Yeah.
Like as like one emotion was anger, and so like as I got older, like that's my emotion for
That's
everything.
your default.
Yeah.
Like,
if I'm not happy, I'm angry. But it's not even that I'm angry. Most of the time it's like, oh, maybe I'm upset about something. Like Kyle will spill something on herself and burn herself, and I'll be angry about it. Not that I'm angry, but I'm like, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
But like it comes off.
You're not angry at her.
Yeah,
but you're
yeah.
angry at like the situation.
I'm just like
shit.
worried. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my, are you okay? Fuck. But I'll be like, God damn it, why'd you spill that? But I'm not like, it sounds fucked, but
it comes from a place of love.
It comes from a place of love, yeah, because that's what I know.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, it's not always about, how you're brought up. That's a fucking lie.
No, you definitely learn
you
that.
get like, it's an imprint on you, especially from your parents. You know what I mean?
Especially at a young
I'm not
age.
saying if your parents are fucking drug addicts, you're going to be a drug addict, because that's totally different. But I'm saying if you grow up knowing a certain type of affection, or you grow up without a certain type of affection, you will. The chances of you that impacting like relationships and like friendships is so fucking high.
Oh, without question, dude. Like I would say that's like the number one thing.
Yeah.
Like how your home life is, and how like your family and your parents treat you, and how your siblings treat you, and how just that all that constant interaction at a young age, that definitely molds you. And I have a hard time believing anybody that says otherwise, honestly.
Well, look at the greatest like athletes in the world, or look at like the most successful people with like such a fucking phenomenal like mindset on success. Like if you look at them,
A lot of them weren't successful as young people, or came from bad backgrounds.
Exactly, yeah. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of the most successful people came from kind of shitty childhoods and had to do a lot of shit, on their own. And it was that like
molded them.
And like, they grew like such a hard work ethic from that, or like that want to be loved by everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's it's exactly what you're saying. Like that doesn't necessarily mean that person's gonna be like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it affects them.
Oh, for sure.
It molds them, or it sends them in a direction, or maybe it sends them in the completely opposite direction because they're like, I don't want to be like that. You know what I mean? Which in that case of those successful people, it's like, yeah, I grew up in a shitty scenario where my mom worked like 4 jobs or whatever, and we couldn't afford electricity, and so I never want to be like that again. So I'm not going to allow myself to be in a scenario like that. So I'm going to work my ass off. I'm going to be super successful, and I'm never going to allow that to happen again. And that's kind of my background. Like when I was in high school, we were super poor, super, super poor. Like right after my dad passed away, my dad was well off, but as soon as he passed away and I moved in with my mom was not doing well, and struggled with some mental illness stuff. And so I was living with her, and she had a job, and then she lost her job. And this was like my freshman year. And so we ended up having to move out of our house, like we moved out of our house. We stayed at a local campground. Like we set up a fucking tent. Everything was in the back of her truck.
Oh yeah. I saw that on Twitter. You said,
yeah,
you're homeless.
And so we stayed at a local campground, and then we did that for a couple months. And then after that, like we moved to another town. We moved up north, and we still couldn't afford a real spot. So we lived in our car, and like every day for like 6-7 months, I think it was almost 8 months, we went between living in a car or sleeping on like one of our coworkers' couches.
Yeah.
Or every now and then we get a hotel. But like that scenario made me like hate being poor.
Yeah.
Like that's part of the reason why I do what I do. Like the idea of that ever happening again, like scares the fuck out of me.
Oh yeah.
To the point where it's like, no, I'm not going to allow that to happen again. I don't want to ever be in a scenario where that's like life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's why I stress out about money so much is because like I know what that's like. Like we lived in like a homeless shelter when I was younger. I was pretty young.
Yeah.
I know my sister was little, and me and my sister are like 2.5 years apart.
Okay.
So I was like, maybe if she was 2, I was like 4.5, almost 5, maybe. Yeah, I had to have been younger than 5 because I went the homeless shelter we were in had like a little playground that was like a preschool thing. So they would like teach, or maybe it was just a daycare. I don't know. Either way, it was either way, we lived in like this homeless shelter in Tualatin. And we had like a 3-person room that we lived in, and it was like it wasn't a 3, it was a 3 like family room, and it was like bunk beds and stuff like that. And I remember that when I was young, and that wasn't bad because it's like roof over our head. We had like access to a kitchen, right? And we got like fed.
And you also probably at the point where like you didn't really know.
Yeah, I was so young, and at the time I'm like, dude, I don't have to worry about shit. Because I don't know what's going on, first of all. Second of all, I get to play with other little kids who are just like me. Third, my family's together and loves each other as far as I know.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, you don't know the details of it.
The worst one was there's 2 other times in my life where I was homeless. And one of them was, I don't remember what happened. We had like got kicked out of our apartment or something like that. I don't think we were able to like pay the rent. Yeah. It's like me and my sister and my dad, we had this van. Okay. It was a cool little van. It had like a little 10-inch TV in it.
Was it like pedophile van, or
no? It wasn't.
No windows. Van?
No, it was still like pretty pedophile looking, but it was like some red van with like windows and like curtains. Okay. It was like one of those ones you could camp in.
Oh, right on.
So we stayed in that for like a couple months, and it was the same with you. Like 1 week we'd stay in the van, and then maybe like a couple days out of the week we'd stay like on my grandma's couch. Yeah. My sister would like sleep on the couch, my dad would sleep on the other, I'd sleep on the floor or whatever. Yeah. And then like it was on and off for a while like that. And then the last time that I was homeless was like the worst time ever because I was older.
Like how old were you?
I was 18. Okay. So I had just moved out of my mom's. I had just graduated high school like 2015. So yeah, a couple years ago. Yeah. And I had moved down to Washington to like help my dad out and stuff. And we were like staying with my grandma for a little bit, but my grandma's kind of a crazy bitch. And just one day she was like, "Fuck you guys." And I woke up and like all our shit was like packed.
Oh shit.
And my dad at the time was very like, he couldn't really do much in terms of like get a job at the time because he was worried about some other stuff that was going on. Yeah. So he didn't have a job, and he was doing his thing. So it kind of like fell on me to like backpack like me and him. It was just me and him. Yeah. And we ended up being like homeless, and we had like this little 99 Mercury Cougar. Okay. And so we stayed in that for like a couple nights out of the week, and then we would stay at this house, this like shitty fucking house for a little bit, and we stayed there for a little bit. And so between that and the car, it was like winter again. Yeah. It was so fucking terrible.
Dude, there's nothing worse than sleeping in a car is fucking awful.
It's hard. And like me being 18,
you're a big dude.
Me being 18, like 300 pounds, like that's not what I fucking wanted to do. No. I didn't move away from my friends and family so I could go sleep in a car with my dad. Like, no disrespect, but god damn it. You know what I mean? Like, that sucked.
That's not where you picture yourself.
And then eventually we made it to sleeping on the floor of like a friend of his house. Slept on her floor. Yeah. And then she had like a roommate that ended up moving out. So we ended up taking that spot and having our own little room, which was cool.
That's all.
But then she ended up being crazy, kicked us out. So, and then I moved back here.
Been there, dude.
Yeah. It's great. Roommates don't work out, dude. Roommates are fucking nuts.
Especially, yeah, like I remember we were staying, my mom was working at this gas station like overnight. She was working at like the gas station overnight, like cashier or whatever. Yeah. And one of her coworkers was like, "Oh yeah, you guys can like crash on my floor, like my couch." And I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah!" Like, because that's way better than the car. Like my mom had it was like a Chevy Z20, like a 1980 something Chevy Z24. It was like a piece of shit, like cool back in the 80s car, but like now it's like convertible. And so I was like, I was a big kid, pretty tall, like super uncomfortable sleeping in that shit. Yeah. And so I was like, hell yes, let's do that because that's awesome. And she has TV.
Yeah.
And so that worked for like, you know, like a couple weeks, I think maybe 2 weeks. And then eventually it was just like, nah, you guys got to go. It's like back to the car.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
And that's like something that's been hard is like, for me, like every single person in my life who was supposed to like care about me or like care about my dad or something like that has always turned their back on us. Yeah. Always. My mom's turned her back on me before for a while. My grandma's turned her back on me. My uncles and shit like that. Like everyone at some point has turned their back on me when they said that they were going to be there for me. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's created like big problems with trusting anybody. Yeah. But like at the same time, like people who I've chosen to be my friends or people who I've developed relationships with, people like you or people like Justin or Greg, people like that is, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you guys are like family to me, like brothers to me, because it's like, I never had like a bond like that
with your family,
with anybody. And I know that you guys would have my back through everything.
Right.
So I don't know. It's like, it's cool because like growing up in such a like dysfunctional family and like a broken home and what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to have like a family in terms of like friends, but sometimes it sucks because like Kaya's family is like very loving. And very like compassionate and wants to do things with her and take her out places, and I'm just like, dude, my fucking family never did that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I have bro time. That's like family time to me.
Right.
So it's like weird. It's like, and it sounds.
You have
shitty.
a different type of family time. Yeah.
And it like sounds kind of shitty, but like it genuinely makes me feel fucking weird when like her mom like wants to go do stuff with her.
Yeah.
Because like my mom never did.
Because you never had that.
I never had that connection ever. So I'm like, that's cool. Like it's almost like hurts my, or like we'll talk about like family stuff when she has like a family dinner. We'll talk about like family stuff and I'm just like, I just like sit there. I'm like, God, you guys have all these great stories and all these fucking fun, great memories and all this lovey-dovey shit.
And you don't
like,
have that.
I can't share a damn thing.
Yeah.
With you guys.
I know how that goes, dude.
And sometimes I'll sit there and that's like one of those like triggers. I'm like, just sit there and it puts me in such a bad mood because I'm like, dude, that makes me feel so shitty that I don't have anything positive to like reflect on.
Right.
Besides skateboarding with my dad being homeless.
Yeah.
Like,
but see, it's in scenarios like that though, you got to think of like, you don't have that family, like you don't have those family memories to look back on. Right.
Yeah.
And you're not going, it's like, you don't have those. Like you can't, no matter what happens, like you don't have like, that ship has sailed. You're past
dude,
that.
far
so
gone.
Right. So it's when those scenarios happen that you got to think of like, you have your bro time, you have Kaya, and you have her family, which is basically like your family. You know, that's how that. Because I was in a similar boat. Like I don't talk to my mom. My dad passed away. Most of my family on my mom's side I don't have a relationship with just because of the way that my mom's relationship with them was.
Yeah.
So I don't really, she has a huge family on her side that I don't really talk to. And I don't really talk to the family on my dad's side because of various issues when he passed away and whatnot. So really it's always been kind of just me and same situation. Like, I don't have like those family memories. Like I don't really have a whole lot of positive family memories to look back on. Like I have some. And, you know, I mean, I'm sure if you look and think about it,
I have
you have some, but you don't have like those, oh man, like Christmas, like, or even like when I was in college, it's like, we're all going home for Thanksgiving break or we're all going home for winter break. Like, I'm going to go hang out with the family. And I was just like, well, I'm going to stay in my apartment and I'm going to be here or like hang out with my couple buddies that like stayed around. And so now I have those memories to look back. Like I had Thanksgiving with all my boys back in college, like, we never went home or we didn't go home. Mm-hmm. So we had that together, you know, or thinking about like the positive relationships and the positive family experiences that you have with your boys now and Kai and her family.
Oh yeah.
Like you have those positive experiences and you're moving forward, like, and eventually down the road when you have kids, you know, you're going to make sure that you have those positive relationships going forward. So it's actually going to make you probably a better dad.
Oh yeah.
You
And that's
like
probably that's like the most positive thing that I like ever could think about. Cause you know, eventually like if I ever do become like a parent and stuff, dude, my kid is never going to go
through what you
like ever. Like my kid's not going to come from a broken home. Like I don't even care if like me and my lady don't work out, like, you know, say I end up having a kid with Kai, like I don't even care if we end up not working out. Like my kid's still not going to go through like the shit.
He's not going to struggle.
Yeah, because my parents could have split and could have been civil and communicated and still like hung out for the family. Not like hung out together, but hung out at events for the family. Yeah. But no, dude, my mom fucking left out of nowhere one night. She left and just like for days. Like I was just like, oh, okay, well, my mom's died. I don't know where my mom went.
Yeah.
And I was like 8. I was like, oh, our fucking mom left and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually I can't eat chicken noodle soup anymore because I was eating chicken noodle soup with my dad and my sister one time. And the cops kicked in our front door and threw my dad into handcuffs and took me and my sister and gave us to our mom, who we never saw because she was out doing whatever she was doing. So I ended up living with like my grandma for a little bit. It was like my mom, but it was at my grandma's house.
Right.
And so I never really saw my mom. I just saw my grandma.
Right.
And my grandma, man, I feel bad. I feel like I'm like, I don't like want to talk bad about my family, but at the same time, it's kind of like you guys are fucking assholes to me. This isn't a joke, you know. And she hated.
Good for you, to admit that.
She hated me because I'm like a spitting image of my dad. Like, like if you look at my dad and you look at me, you're like, oh my fucking God, you guys could be brothers.
You guys are definitely brothers.
My dad looks very good. My dad's like 42, 43 years old. Looks very, very awesome for his age.
I thought he was like your older brother when I saw him.
Dude, so many people. He looks way better than that now. He's bald now. Like he just decided to get rid of it all.
Just shaved it all.
Yeah, but he's leaner now. He just looks just more proportionate. Looks way better.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of him right now. He's doing good in life. But I look just like him, and because of that, my grandma was like very like just kind of against me, like kind of just treated me like fucking shit. And so living with her was hard, and like there's like abuse problems and stuff like that, and I'm just kind of like, fuck, I'm like this little kid, so I acted out and had attitude problems and whatnot. But eventually I went back with my dad. I guess my dad ended up going to jail for a little bit, and then when he got out, I ended up going to live with him, and during that time I didn't like hear from my mom for like days, like probably like a year and a half. I'd like no like text or call, like no events that I ever did she ever showed up to, nothing. Like no, she's just like absent. I was like, oh, okay, sick. Where are you at, Mom?
Yeah,
it was weird. I don't remember what I was getting to. I'm kind of babbling on though. What was I talking about? Fuck.
Talking about how you couldn't have chicken noodle soup anymore.
Oh yeah, but anyways, like my kid's never gonna go through anything like that. And like, so, even if we struggle with money, like my kid, I don't ever want my kid to know
that you're struggling.
Yeah, because I knew when I was younger. I always knew.
That's a terrible feeling.
My dad or my mom or whoever it was I was with, like fucking always stressed out about money all the time. Oh fuck, we can't do this, or we can't do that, or even like being homeless, like living off like ramen or like a jar of peanut butter just due to like all the fats and shit that's in it. That shit can hold you over. Like a spoonful of peanut butter
and some white bread. That's what I lived on for like 2 years.
It's like homeless food number 100%. Like 101. Seriously.
My buddy Kyle makes fun of me all the time because my sophomore year, I moved to a new school where he was going to school, and I would show up at the football practice. I couldn't play or practice because I was like, I don't think I was registered or like part of the school. Like I didn't have anything set up, so I couldn't participate. So I would sit on the sideline and eat peanut butter sandwiches. And he makes fun of me all the time for that. But I'm like, dude, that was 4 meals a day, peanut butter sandwiches. Dude. And that got me through, man.
Bro, that's just, back like then, like that shit wasn't that, like you're older than me, but fuck, dude, like back peanut butter and like some white bread, like back then, like really wasn't that bad. And you could go to like, fucking like they had like like food banks you could go to that would give you food. You pick that shit up for like free.
You could get a thing of peanut butter for like $3 and like a thing of white bread.
You tell me you don't have
$2?
$3? Yeah, you don't have $5 in your pocket to eat for a week.
Yeah, and you're good.
You're good. Yeah, and you never eat 2 pieces of bread. You only put peanut butter on one side and
you
fold it.
Yep. Dude, that's the money move right there.
If you don't do that, you're rich.
I'm not gonna lie though. Ever since then, I can't just eat peanut butter and bread. Like it's kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah, I believe it, dude.
Like it's kind of like that trigger thing. Like it's like, dude, I need to throw some jelly on this because I got money now.
I got that.
I got it like that.
I got that jam money.
And the good jam too. Like, let's get that Smucker's over here. Like,
Oh, dude.
with the fruit pieces in it too. Not just the.
Smucker's is the way to.
Yeah.
Remember when they had the kind that was like the peanut butter and the jelly, and you could like squirt it?
Yeah, I
on
didn't
your
like
bread?
that, dude.
I love that
No,
shit, dude. That shit was so gay.
That's not cool, dude.
I was so lazy. I'm like, shit, I don't want to have to use 2 knives or mix the peanut butter and the jelly. I might as well just have it already.
2 knives? Who are you, bro?
Dude, I was weird, bro.
For sure, not 2 knives.
I couldn't use one knife.
You use 1 knife.
I get in trouble, bro.
You use 1 knife for the peanut butter first. All right. Boom. Put it on the bread. Then you take the knife and you wipe it off on the other slice of bread. And now the knife is clean,
shit,
bro.
I never even thought about that. I always wiped it off on the lid.
Nah, dude. On the
That's crazy.
bread. Gets it off the bread and then boom, into the jelly.
Episode number 2, how to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Dude, how are we doing on time?
You probably got to go soon, huh?
What time is it?
It's like 1:30.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'll go at like 1:40.
All right. Yeah, I think this. The important thing about this, dude, I think the takeaway is, like, without those shitty
Yeah.
experiences, like, it wouldn't have molded you or prepared you as well for life. Like, now, like, you can go through shit and be like, dude, this isn't as bad as when I was homeless, when I was living in that car, when I was eating just peanut butter sandwich, you know. It's prepared you to deal with shit. Like, it's like the gunsmith saying, like, built for battle, dude. Like, it's made you resilient to the point where life can throw whatever it wants at you because you've already seen some of the worst parts of it and you came out the other end, dude. You're good to go. And it's prepared you, dude. It's prepared you for the rest of your life, and it's prepared you, you know, to be a better dad, to be a better husband, to be a better person just overall. Like you said, made you way more sociable, way more caring about other people, you know? So it's molded you into a better person. Yeah, it sucked, but the silver lining of that is it molded you into who you are now and who you'll be tomorrow. And like, it's all part of the process, basically. Like, life's a process. Like,
it is.
You got to deal with, like, the ups and downs, but there's an end result, and so far your end result is better than, you know, when you started.
Absolutely.
So,
well, and it's the same with you. Look at all the shit you've gone through. I by the way, had no clue.
yeah.
So
Well, I don't like talking about that.
Yeah,
Actually,
either
that's
do
the
I.
first time I've ever. I think Chrissy. I've talked to Chrissy about it, and I may have talked to somebody else, and I made that tweet. And when I made that tweet, I was like, I don't know about this, but yeah, no, because I don't. It's kind of. As opposed to you, where you get those triggers and you think about it. I get those triggers and I'm like, I don't want to think about that. So like, I don't think about it. So I refuse. Like, I pretend like that part of my life never happened.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember a whole lot from there because I just kind of phase it off.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's almost like traumatic to the point where I'm like just thinking about it just sucks.
You ever think that's one of the reasons why you train as hard as you do?
Possibly. You know?
Because you train like with such like myself, like I do train hard, but like you train with such an intensity with no specific goal, and like it takes like just a certain type of person to be able to like have that fucking just that type of ethic in the gym, and put your body through that much like fucking stress. You know what I mean?
Well, I think part of that was when I was in high school, like we were going through all that shit where I was like. I went to a wealthy high school, like kids well off. Like Walnut Creek's a super ritzy area, and so just the fact that like I was in a shitty scenario, like living in my car, like my mom's picking me up in this shitty ass car, like,
and then knowing like that's also your home,
that has all our stuff in the back, like that was embarrassing, like, and I didn't like thinking about it, and so like that made me like I would find solace in going to football practice and find solace in like going to the weight room after school, and I would just train there for forever, you know, till they kick me out, till they're like, yeah, we gotta go. And so like part of me thinks that's kind of like the therapy. That's kind of the therapy that I used when I was going through all that shitty stuff. Like that was the one constant in my life. Like football practice is at 3:30 or whatever. And then in the off season, like weight rooms open from 3 to 5:30 or whatever. So like that was the constant. Like I may not know what street we're gonna sleep on tonight or what we're going to necessarily eat tonight, but I know that I have football practice here. I have the weight room here. I have school here. Like I have this constant schedule that I like things that are not going to change. And so I think that molded that probably, you know.
I think, that's like kind of the same. Like I definitely like the gym is like therapeutic, and like for anyone who uses the gym to like help them with like things that they're going through, that's like where it becomes like the addiction, and that's like where like that lifestyle comes from. You know what I mean? Like that's when it becomes more than the gym, more than, oh, I have to get it out of the way, and it becomes like, this is my way.
Yeah, it's not a chore. I mean? It's not a chore at that point.
Yeah, I never ever think about the gym as fuck. I have to get the gym out of the way so I can do other shit. It's like, I have to go to the gym or I can't do other shit. Like I literally
mentally you beat
like
yourself
mentally,
up.
mentally I'm like, if I don't go to the fucking gym today, what the fuck am I doing? Because I'll be mad. I know it. That's my release, my therapy. If I'm mad or whatever, even if I'm fucking happy, it's also my social outlet, you know? I get to see my fucking closest friends.
And I think that's huge for a lot of people going through with like depression and whatnot, is to find like fitness is amazing for people with depression or people with, you know, anxiety disorders or just, you know, bad upbringings. Like it's an awesome place to go. And just because of those things, like the social aspect of it, like it's a community. So like you didn't have a family really growing up, but you have your gym family, which has become basically your family, you know? So like you get the community aspect, plus you get like the chemical aspect in your body of like the reaction to you know, working out, the endorphins, all that, making it kind of contributing to a better mood, you know? So that, I think that's the biggest thing for a lot of people going through depression, or that is to, you know, do something active, do something, you know, as an outlet to kind of like release some of that, you know? Yeah.
And that's like, yeah, dude. Yeah. I've been watching like, I stopped watching Bradley Martin videos for a little bit just because like they kind of were like, I felt like they're straying away from, like they're kind of getting away from like what I remember Bradley Martin videos being like. But I just started watching them again, and it's crazy. It's always so crazy to see, like, hear and see Brad talk about like his like upbringing and stuff, like with the death of like with the suicide in his life and stuff with his parents and all that. Like it's always crazy, and it's crazy because it's like that. If shit like that didn't happen, he would not be
who he is
today. A fucking fitness industry icon. You know what I mean?
Well, he's a super successful person because of that. You know? Yeah. Well, I think this was good, dude.
It was cool,
man. It was good for people to kind of hear that. I think hopefully that helps somebody who's going through some rough times, or, you know, struggling with something personally in their family life, or, you know,
it's actually it's really funny because I was going to make a big story about it. I recorded all the clips. I was going to make a big old talk about it on my story on Instagram, and I fucking deleted it. I got like 7 clips in, and I was like, delete. I deleted every single one of them.
Oh man.
And I was like, God damn it, why'd I do that? I don't know. I like talking about it on here though. It's cool. No, it's better, I guess. Anyone who actually cares and, you know, has the time
will
to
actually listen to it.
Yeah, we'll listen to this. They don't have to see 15 seconds of me fucking talking.
They don't have to see an outrageously long story on your story.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, nobody listens to super long stories on Instagram.
Nobody. I'll be clicking on my phone all day long.
Go to the next clip. Anyway, I think this was good, dude.
Yeah.
It was good times. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Not For The Weak podcast. Before you guys leave, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a 5-star review, because it really helps build the podcast and grow the network of people that we can reach. What else? Go tell a friend.
Yeah.
Tell a friend. Go when you're at the gym today, tell somebody about the podcast and be like, hey, check these dudes out.
Yeah. And if you made it all the way through the podcast, it's like about an hour long, or a little over an hour
and 10 minutes.
Yeah. So if you made it all the way through the podcast,
you're the real MVP. Like, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Guys.
Seriously. Thank you so much, because I had like probably 6 people say, yeah, the podcast was great. Joe, did you listen to the whole thing? Yeah, I got like halfway through. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, 30 minutes is better than no minutes.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it.
It started out a little slow. We might have rambled a little bit there at the beginning, but I think towards the end, it was some good stuff.
Some real gold, some real just like authenticity. That's what it's called. So.
Well, Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at NotForTheWeakPC. My personal Instagram, James Mooney GC. Twitter as well, same thing. YouTube.
And then mine is Jeremy New GC. So it's the same for Twitter and IG. So pretty easy to find me, you guys. Even if you follow Mooney, the chances are you'll be able to find me. So.
Right on. And check out gunsmithbrand.com. Bunch of sweet hats there.
We're having that sale going on soon.
Black Friday sale coming up. Anyway, that's it.
All right, you guys.
Stay savage, my friends.